are less than 24 hours away from the biggest futures closeout of all time, ever. Biggest futures closeout ever, with a max pain price of $54,000. Yeah, exactly. We have a $54,000 max pain price. And the big question is whether Bitcoin will move towards the max pain price and whether we can expect a huge dump. And the answer to that question is no. So you don't need to watch the rest of the show because the answer is no. But we will be crossing over to the Fantom conference to get a big announcement from our friend Harry. We will be degening into altcoins. We've got a whole lot of altcoin calls for you. And we're going to look at why I think the market isn't going to go down ahead of the biggest futures closeout of all time. So let's go. Anytime now. Banter fam, welcome back. Welcome back. I'm Crypto Man, right? I'm here twice a day, every single day, bringing you crypto love and crypto wisdom and changing people's lives every single day. That's what we do right here at Banter. So if you're new to our family, smash the like button, subscribe to our channel, join the movement, join the family. We are one hell of a big family. It's me, it's Fred, it's Jimmy. Sheldon.
Yo.
So everyone is here. We are part of one big family. And if you want to join our family, join our family. And I'll tell you why. Because when we get to 5,000 likes in the show, we're going to continue to give away prizes. Now, get this. We gave you guys $100 worth of Scallop each as giveaways. But you got those at 15 cents. And the price of Scallop right now is $2.42. That means that you've made like almost 20x, 15x. So that $100 is worth $1,500 for those people who won earlier. And we gave away like 10 of them earlier. We're going to give away a whole lot now. Jimmy, how many more to give away now? 6 more to give away during this show. There's another $10,000 to be giving away on the show. Yeah, this is a station where you're going to make wife-changing money. I promise you that. You're going to make wife-changing money. And speaking of wife-changing money, there was an announcement which sent Fantom to an all-time high. Fantom went to, I think, $3.45. It has come down a little bit since then. And that is because our friend Harry, who promised us an announcement, made an announcement. And he said, launching in Q4 2021, Harry here announced that a Binance Cloud powered exchange for Fantom tokens. Binance Cloud would allow for deeper liquidity, better limit orders, HFT, and bots. Okay, this means that we need to cross over to Harry live and see what the hell is going on at the Fantom conference. Harry, welcome back, buddy.
Thanks for having me, Ran.
Okay, big announcement today. I told you yesterday when we spoke that it sounded to me like it was some kind of exchange or something.
That's correct. You're very good at guessing things.
So tell us what this whole announcement's about.
Yes. So the biggest issue with a lot of these blockchain projects, even Fantom, is that once the ecosystem matures a little bit, the liquidity is.
Did we lose Harry? Harry's coming and going. That's not good. Okay, let's try to get Harry back. While we're trying to get Harry back, I think what he was saying that they don't get liquidity. And if I read between the lines here, it looks like they're going to launch a Binance-style exchange only for Fantom. So Fantom with Fantom Liquidity. The reason why I think that is so big is because remember that I said to you yesterday that if you want the biggest arbitrage in crypto, it is finding crypto tokens that aren't listed on big exchanges and waiting for them to get listed on big exchanges and when that liquidity comes from the big exchanges, that is when we make our alpha. Let's see if we can get Harry back. Are we going to get him back? All right, while we're waiting for Harry, there are a whole lot of other things that I want to talk about around Fantom. Remember I said to you that the reason to buy those coins is because they're not listed. Let's go look at some of the Fantom tokens. So let's look at some of the Fantom tokens. Let's take, for example, Tomb, and I'm going to show you something amazing when it comes to Tomb today. And let's look at where Tomb is listed. So Tomb is one of the good Fantom tokens. And if you want to see, oh, it's a DDoS attack. Amazing. Well done, CoinGecko. Wow, CoinGecko is performing today. You see, so Tomb, for example, which is a great token, is only listed on SpookySwap and on SpiritSwap, which means that no one with a Binance account or a Coinbase account or a Bittrex account can trade these things. And so when these projects develop and eventually they get listed onto big exchanges, well, then these projects start to run. Let's look at other Fantom tokens like SpookySwap. So let's go to Spooky, and the token symbol is Boo. And I think what you'll see here is you'll see a similar pattern. You'll see that it's not listed on any one of the major exchanges. And because it's not listed on any one of the major exchanges, we're not going to be able to get, there's not much liquidity. Oh, look at that. Look at that jump on the news of the announcement that there's going to be Fantom liquidity pairs in other places. Because what the market is realizing is that if this happens, you're going to be able to pick up all these tokens, not only on SpookySwap and on SpiritSwap. And this is it's a big thing, because if you look at the exchange volume that these things are doing, I want to see if I've got something for you around exchange volume. So look at the exchange volume that is being done on Fantom at the moment. And we took a snapshot of yesterday. So on SpookySwap, the volume was $328 million. And on Uniswap or on PancakeSwap, the volume yesterday was $1 billion. So what you could say is that SpookySwap had 29% of the volume of PancakeSwap. But the market cap of SpookySwap is $160 million, and the market cap of Cake is $4.3 billion. Why? Because there's much more liquidity for PancakeSwap. We got Harry back. Okay, Harry, continue with your announcement.
Yeah, I'm going to fix the computer next time we do the cast, so it works. Yeah, so go ahead.
So tell us about the announcement. So it sounds like there's a Binance Cloud exchange which is launching with Fantom pairs.
Correct. And CZ is a good friend of ours. Just really kind of speaking with him, and he was sharing his vision of what Binance is going to be doing over the next 6 to 12 months, but really kind of like the vision longer term. Binance is almost going to be like a Google type platform, but specifically for blockchain. And what most people don't realize is that Binance is one of the big bridges that connects all the chains. So while they've done a really, really good job, the issue is it's very, very difficult for Binance to focus on everybody. So going back to kind of like the ethos I have for, investing and focusing, by just putting all my time and energy and things that I'm good at on the Fantom ecosystem. And there's always new problems to solve every single day. So as Fantom has had a lot of, I guess, exponential growth, the issue isn't so much with liquidity, but the issue is you can only buy these tokens on DEXs. But some of these projects were coming to me and saying, hey, should we list on KuCoin or all these other exchanges like Gate.io, but, Kraken, even Coinbase, but nobody's doing the Fantom Opera integrations, and the tokens need to run on Opera. So what I really kind of thought about is, okay, I can help solve this problem. I know the guys from Binance, and Binance Cloud is the best exchange, best platform, and they handpick and choose who they will actually allow to even use their platform. So fortunately, we were able to kind of, definitely ink a deal in the next, in this quarter, we're able to deploy. But almost every token that we believe right now, there's significant liquidity. People want to trade these things, but at the end of the day, it's just...
There's nowhere to trade them. There's nowhere to trade these things.
Not easy. so many people say to me, Harry, I want to buy Spooky, I want to buy Yoshi, I want to buy Tomb, I want to buy T-shares. It's not easy to buy right now. So all we're giving people is an option to make it easy to buy. But everybody says, why can't I buy on Binance? So I'm like, okay, why don't I just license Binance Cloud, and we provide the infrastructure, electronic market making. By the way, we put up another $1 million hackathon for people to create a automated market maker that works for DEXs and centralized exchanges, specifically just for Fantom's blockchain.
Wow. Okay. So big news. So the ultimate part of this news is what you're going to be doing is you're going to be bringing a lot more liquidity and making it much easier for a lot of people to buy all the Fantom ecosystem coins.
Correct. So everything's going to be Fantom pairs and Tomb pairs, obviously. So for us, that's the most interesting, because the more liquidity there is, the easier it is for people to buy. And DEXs, one of the biggest problems with DEXs is limit orders just do not work. And, as a hedge fund guy, I want to be able to put a limit order, but the way the DEXs work right now, even if you put a limit order using Gelato, all it does is when it goes past a certain price, it insta-dumps. So you see a big red candle. That's not a limit order. That's just how decentralized limit orders work, unfortunately. It's smart contracts. So we're just trying to help solve a problem with liquidity. More liquidity means more people can buy easier. And everybody loves Binance. I love Binance. It's my favorite exchange. I've said it a million times. There, I said it again. So why not give everybody exactly what they want and offer it at a reasonable price? The other thing I wasn't a big fan of is all these other exchanges, I won't name specific ones, they're trying to gouge these projects by charging $500,000 to $1 million, and I think 1% to 2% of their token supply, which is extortion. So I said, you know what? I'm going to help solve that problem. License Binance Cloud. I'll foot up the initial cost, and whatever fees kind of happen, we'll set up a separate business for it. So I think it's $1 billion business, definitely.
So it means that people will be able to trade Fantom-based tokens or Opera-based tokens without actually having an Opera-based wallet, because they're using
Correct.
a Binance-style wallet, and that eliminates a massive, massive, massive barrier to entry. And
Correct.
what we can probably expect is a lot more people to start trading these tokens. And that's what the market's telling us. That's why Spooky's up 50% today, because you would imagine that a lot of people would want to be buying the DEX or the ultimate DEX on Fantom. Because of that, I'm going to quickly try and look at the Fantom ecosystem coins and see what the announcement did to the Fantom ecosystem. But I guess it was extremely bullish.
Yeah, it's buy the rumor, sell the news. I mean, typical, strategy. It's a quick trade in and out. There's big news, people kind of hype it, and then quick traders will just, sell. So I think it went up to 345, and then it's just down to 311. I think. Let me check.
Yeah, I think Fantom itself, but I think the ecosystem coins are the ones that are pumping. I can't get onto CoinGecko because CoinGecko is overloaded, but I think all the Fantom ecosystem coins went crazy.
Yeah, and look, at the end of the day, I just want to help solve a problem. So what's nice is by licensing Binance Cloud, we're going to give the tokens. Look, there's going to be there's going to be a process that we're going to go through for all the tokens as well. So we're not just going to list anything random. So for example, take something like a Spooky. It costs us $25,000 to list on the exchange. So we're paying that to Binance. So any system integration cost, whatever, we'll probably just kind of match the $25,000. So it's $50,000 for a token to list. Plus they have to provide some liquidity. We're going to provide some framework for them. But at the end of the day, everybody I've spoken to loves the idea. And that's why we did it. We're really, really doing it for the community and for everybody else. I mean, the last thing I want to do on cryptocurrency exchange.
So
that's
Harry,
one thing I would never do. Yeah.
Is the conference finished now? Is it all over, or is there still more to come?
No. So what happened is this $1 million hackathon that we put on to kind of help disrupt the hedge fund administration business. It ends on October 31st. So I'm doing something that's never been done before. I paid Emirates Palace to extend the conference. So we're not even tearing down for like another, I think 4 or 5 days. Wow. 3 days. November 1st. Yeah. So, and then we're putting up hotels, room service, everybody gets to enjoy, really focus on the program and giving them 50-inch monitors. Just the best developers are the most important people in any ecosystem. So I just really wanted them to have the best experience here and just focus on You can clap. Just to really focus on building something here and all the friendships and relationships here. To me, seeing a room full of people creating software on Fantom's blockchain has just been a vision and dream of mine. So I don't want them to be distracted from that.
Amazing. Harry, thank you so much.
We've got a big party, we've got a gala, we've got an awards gala that's happening. Everybody in the audience, you're invited to the awards gala. Yeah.
Harry,
and then there's a big party afterwards, Halloween party.
When Coinbase announcement?
Soon. But honestly, Coinbase's announcement won't really do that much for Fantom. I think what's more important right now is the Fantom news for the Fantom traded pairs, because that's really what happened. At some point, Coinbase will list, and people will be like, great. I mean, look at what it did with Avalanche. It didn't do anything. So I think people are overestimating the importance of a Coinbase listing these days.
Harry, thank you very much, my friend. We've got to move on with the show. Good to see you, buddy.
Great. Good to see you. Thanks for having me, Rand.
Cool. So that is one of the announcements on Fantom. I'm still expecting the Coinbase announcement. I must be honest. I still am expecting the Coinbase announcement. There are a lot of announcements happening. So that's Fantom. Lots of good stuff going on. And I think the ecosystem coins are going to start mooning. There's obviously an announcement on Coti. So Coti is launching their mainnet too. So I was watching the Coti price earlier. Looks like it is starting to wake up. You see that little green candle over there? And that is because their mainnet 2, which makes them a lot faster and allows them to focus a lot more on partnerships. That's coming, I think, next week. So let's wait for that one. Let's get into the big part of the show. And I think the big part of the show that we have to discuss today is the Bitcoin price and the options and futures closeout that happens once every month. It happens on the last Friday of every month. And every time that this happens, there's market manipulation. And this month is actually no different. Or is it? I think it might be a little bit different. This month was a little bit different because whereas we can see that the point of max pain for the option price is about $54,000, we saw the bears, or we saw the institutions or the manipulators trying to move the Bitcoin price down yesterday. So if you remember what happened yesterday, 1 day before or 2 days before the price, we got this big red candle which took Bitcoin from $66,000. Let's get back to that chart. From $66,000 all the way back to, let's just look at where it went down to. So it went from about 67,000 all the way back down to about 57,850. And we said yesterday on the show that it just smelt of market manipulation. So let me show you what happened in this month, because this month was a very, very, very interesting dynamic. Let's quickly understand what these Bitcoin futures are, and why they're so important. Bitcoin futures are contracts that renew monthly. So you can buy the future that expires in October. You can buy the future that expires in November. You can buy the future that expires in December. And that is exactly what people do that don't buy the actual Bitcoin coin. They buy futures. Let me try and find you here we go. So do we have it here? Okay, so here we go. These are the CME Futures, and you can see that they have a calendar. And I'm going to try and make it bigger for you guys. So you see that there's the October futures, and the last trade happens on the 29th of October. And then you have the November futures, and the last trade happens on the 26th of November. And then you have the December futures, and the last trade happens on the last day of December, as you can see. It's actually every last Friday of the month, the futures contracts have to close. You settle your futures contracts, and then you go out and you buy the next set of futures for the next month, so that you've always got an open interest in the futures contract. And you can see that these futures are getting more and more and more popular. And that is specifically because of the ETF that has launched recently. So futures in general, as you can see, are getting more popular amongst institutions. It's a way for them to buy Bitcoin without actually buying Bitcoin. You settle without actually paying with Bitcoin. You settle just with the cash difference. And you can see that the little pink one over here is going up, and that is the CME futures. And the reason why the CME futures are going up is because if you remember, the ETFs, the new ETFs that have launched, are futures-based ETFs. And so these ETFs don't actually buy Bitcoin. What they buy is they buy the futures on Bitcoin. And that is why the ETF went up, the CME Futures open volume went up a lot. Right now, as we stand, there is 1.1 billion of institutional interest that is locked up in this Bitcoin Futures ETF. So every month, on the last Friday of the month, we have a close. And the close, you get the bulls and the bears, people who bought the futures at different prices, trying to get the other side to the point of max pain. So the buyers want to get the sellers to a point of max pain, and that is where the buyers make the most profit, and the sellers want to get the buyers to their point of max pain. And ultimately, there's one point of pain where both the buyers and the sellers experience the max pain, and that they call that the point of max pain. And every single month, what they try and do is try and get each other to the point of max pain. So let's look at where the point of max pain is. It's at $54,000. Okay, so there we go. It's at $54,000. And that's what happened yesterday. Yesterday, the buyers and the sellers were having this tug of war, trying to get each other to the point of max pain, which is $54,000. But they never succeeded. And if you look at the history of all of this, so let's look at historical data. I should have some historical data for you guys here. Here we go. Let's see if I can make it bigger, and then I'll show it to you guys. You must never show it to anyone unless you can make it bigger. It's not a good strategy. So what you see here is you see the points of max pain. Let me try and make it even bigger for you guys and see if we can actually zoom in. These lines here are the points of max pain every single month. And if you look at the point of max pain, every month, look here, every single month, the futures push the price down towards the point of max pain. Over here in April, in May. Here we go again at the end of July, at the end of August, at the end of September. Some months they succeed, and some months they don't succeed. And on the months that they succeed, usually what happens is we get a bounce immediately after the monthly close. So here's the monthly close over here, bang, we get a bounce. Here's the monthly close over here, bang, we get a bounce. Here's the monthly close over here, bang, we get a bounce. Here's the monthly close, here we got a dip because the point of max pain was actually lower. Here we had a close and bang, we had a huge month again. So you can see that it's a very temporary, the manipulation towards the point of max pain is a very temporary manipulation. It's not something that happens, it's not something that lasts for a long time. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. The bears went out and tried to push the price of Bitcoin down, but this time they actually didn't succeed. And the reason why they didn't succeed is because this market has too much bullish momentum. So that's why initially, where we thought there may be some more turbulence for the next 24 hours, because that's when the futures close, the truth is they may try again at the death just to get it down as much as they can. But the market manipulation is the market momentum right now is way too strong. Because right now, they're competing not only with institutions that are coming in, but we have another category of investor that's coming into crypto. And whereas we may not like this new category of investor coming into crypto, what we can see is that this new category of investor is coming in hard. And that is the meme coin investors. You can see that the meme coin investors, specifically in the United States, have pushed the Coinbase app to be the #1 app on the App Store. Bigger than fucking TikTok, bigger than Instagram, bigger than YouTube, guys. Do you see what's going on here? We're getting these memers, these meme coin people coming in, bringing in a whole lot of money. The money that they're bringing into crypto, let me tell you, is absolutely no joke. I know you think it might be a joke, but I want to show you something. Let me just find this tweet for you guys. Let me close all these windows, otherwise we're going to be here forever. I have to find this for you guys. I don't have the tweet, but the tweet said something to the effect of that Shiba did 10 times the trading volume of Bitcoin in the last 24 hours. So if you think that these meme coins are a joke, they're not a joke. Shiba did 10 times the trading value of Bitcoin in the last 10 hours. It kind of shows that the power is going back to the small investor, the investor that's coming in with $100 and with $200 and with $500, this crypto generation. And Whereas the options and futures bears want to push the price down, the TikTokers are saying, look, we're coming into crypto now. We're putting money into Shiba. We take our money out of Shiba, we put the profits into Bitcoin. So we're going to drive the price of Bitcoin up. The entry point into crypto is Shiba, but then they're on the ecosystem. And what we can see now is we can see a super interesting dynamic. I want to show you this dynamic. This morning, if you remember, Doge was higher than Shiba. The Shiba army then said, no, this isn't going to work for us. And they went and pushed the market cap of Shiba back over the market cap of Doge. Exactly. And now there's over $80 billion of meme coins, which these guys are playing. $80 billion of market liquidity sitting in the meme coins. And eventually what's going to happen is the market liquidity is going to dry up. And they're going to start moving out of Shiba and maybe out of Doge. Where are they going to move to? Bitcoin? You think the TikTokers are going to move to Bitcoin? I don't think so. I think they're going to degen. I think they'll move to altcoins. But serious degen altcoins. So whereas we may not like these Shiba people and these guys, they are bringing huge money into the market. You've got Shiba's got a market cap. I'm trying to get it on CoinGecko, but CoinGecko doesn't work because it can't handle the volume. That's another sign, indicator for you guys that the retail investors coming in. When you get a thing here that says CoinGecko is over capacity again, then you know that retail investors are coming in and they're aping in hard, and even the biggest servers in the world can't keep up with the volume. So you're asking, when is the bull run? When is retail investor coming in? You just saw exactly when the retail investor coming in, and that retail investor is coming in now. Where are they coming into? They're coming into the meme coins. They're coming into Shiba Inu, $40 billion market cap. Doge, $39 billion market cap. But that is going to start flowing into altcoins afterwards. So you got to watch where these guys are moving into. For them, for these investors, it is a lottery system. So Shiba is like playing a lottery. But remember, Americans spend and lose $75 billion a year on lotteries. This is like the new lottery. You put your money into crypto, into Shiba. So that could be another $75 billion of money coming into crypto. Cathie Wood, who is very smart, she went out and bought $2.2 million of Robinhood shares. Why would Cathie Wood buy $2.2 million of Robinhood shares? And why do we care about this? So what happened here was the Robinhood numbers came out badly. The earnings that Robinhood reported were low, much lower than expected. Why? Because their crypto trading volume, because they went through a bear market for the last couple of months, their crypto trading was low. So if you were Robinhood and you realize that all these TikTokers are coming into crypto, what would you do? You would try and list a coin potentially that's going to bring them to you. And if there was a coin that had a petition and the petition had 334,000 likes or subscribers or whatever you do to signatures, what would you do? You would list it. And then the crypto content comes back into Robinhood. Yep. And so Cathie Wood is actually very smart. She went and bought Robinhood. You see, if you want to be like Cathie Wood, you can buy Robinhood and you can buy crypto because she bought Robinhood.
We spoke about this. That Doge accounts for like 68% of the...
Yes, Fred says Doge accounted for 60% of their revenue, of their crypto revenue last time. Okay, so that is the story. That little shakeout that we had over here, this shakeout that we had over the last 2 days, it was a bit of a reset. Not enough of a reset though. The hell is going on here? It was a bit of a reset, not enough of a reset. So what we can see on chain is that the price of Bitcoin went down. The futures open interest went down. The funding rate remained neutral. When the funding rate remains neutral, what it means is that the people that want to leverage strong upwards and the people that want to short and go downwards are equal. There's not an aping into longs and there's not an aping into shorts. And so right now the funding rate is normal, which means that people aren't panicking, aren't buying into longs and aren't buying into shorts. Healthy, healthy, healthy. We somehow, we managed to shake out the overheatedness with a very, very, very small dump. And what we are seeing here is that the on-chain metrics are better than actually they've ever been. So let's look at the on-chain metrics. When you get this indicator, which is the adjusted spending output ratio, I don't want to go into what it means, but let's go into here. Every time that goes towards 1, you get a pump. 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 Look where we are now. We've just touched 1. What does this actually mean? Without getting too technical, let's read this tweet. It says, the adjusted spending output ratio metric has been reset to 1. In a bull market, this usually signals top buyers, the guys that bought on leverage and have weekends, are realizing their losses. Cheers, they're out of the market. Profitable hodlers are staying dormant. So they're not doing anything, they're just chilling. Reasonable probability for a price bounce. That's the first indicator that I see. But then the next indicator that I see, let me zoom out of that for you guys. Let me zoom, reset. So the next indicator that I see, let's quickly zoom in, is that the whales, since February 2020, the average rate of outflow has been 30.85. You can see that right now, the average rate of outflow has gone higher, and that not since August 2018 have we had so many Bitcoin flowing out of exchanges. So what you're seeing is you're seeing a very interesting dynamic. You're seeing this battle on the futures. Now, futures don't actually require Bitcoin. It's these institutions fighting each other for the point of max pain. And that is causing some short-term price volatility. That is on the surface. But if you look underneath at what's happening on the chain, so forget about these manipulations that are happening on a price instrument that doesn't actually require the buying and selling of Bitcoin. Look at what's happening on the Bitcoin chain. That's why we love the chain, because the chain gives us the fundamental data. And I look at the chain, and the chain says to me, while the institutions are fighting on this Bitcoin futures and Bitcoin CME futures, the whales are going, okay, you guys carry on with your bullshit. We've shaken out all the weekends. Thank you for helping us flush out the weekends. Birb is waiting for us. Okay, we're going to get Birb on. Let's get him on. Profitable hodlers are staying dormant, and coins are moving off the fucking chain. And so basically, what this all says to us is it says to us that we shouldn't pay attention to the noise of the CME futures. And why I'm saying this to you guys is that if the price of Bitcoin goes down today, you buy like apes. You buy like the apes on my Solana shirt that I'm getting ready for the Solana conference, which I'll show you guys. You buy like these guys. Not these apes, different apes. I have to find these here. These are the apes. You buy like the Degen apes that we are if the price goes down. Why? Because don't worry about the noise, because the on-chain metrics are showing you that the on-chain metrics are stronger than they've ever been, but the noise is happening on this price instrument that is not actually even really linked to Bitcoin. It's just not actually even linked to Bitcoin. Crazy, crazy, crazy shit. Now, I wish that we could say that all of this was a surprise, because I really wish we could say all of this was a surprise. But it's not a surprise. It's not a surprise at all, and I'll show you why. If you remember the tweet from our friend Birb, Birb said, here's what's going to happen. And he said this on October 18th, which was how many days? 10 days ago. It says Bitcoin all-time high in the next few days. Did we get the all-time high in the next few days? Let's look. Oh, what a surprise. 20th of October, we got a Bitcoin all-time high. Surprise. Everyone must act surprised now. Can you guys all act surprised? Oh my goodness. Institutional and retail FOMO's hard. I just showed you that Coinbase was the #1 fucking app in the App Store. If that doesn't tell you that institutions and retail investors are FOMOing hard, I don't know what will. Then tech giants open crypto payments. MasterCard says that any bank or merchant on its vast network can soon offer crypto services. That comes out 1 week after Birbs' tweet, October 25th. You would think he's actually the guy writing the fucking script. I mean, but this is a week later, guys. A week later. So it's almost like you can't say you didn't know this because it was written. But now he says Bitcoin pulls $150,000 to $200,000 peak, a reversal of 40 to 50,000 drop in a day, an ultimate alt season, and a bear market in 2022. Now let's bring back our man, Birb, the visionary, Mr. Birb. Freaky stuff, my man. Freaky stuff.
Good to see you. Good to see you, bro.
Bro, it's like you wrote the fucking script.
Yeah, like every, you see those points coming up, like from the institutions, from the banks. I wouldn't be surprised if JP Morgan announces they're holding like big chunk of Bitcoin too. It's over some time, but it's a bit, the points that I brought in there that we discussed the other day, are not fully complete per se. They are processing, right? Per the tech giants opening crypto payments, like this is a process. I'm expecting literally like all the like Amazon, Apple, Google, all of these like big tech giant companies to literally start popping up like out of nowhere that they would start accepting cryptos. And it's not going to happen within the next 5 hours or the next 5 days, but it's going to happen within the next, let's say, 2 months period or so. So it's more of a process, but this is an actual path. You see all-time high, which it happened. You see actual institutional and retail FOMO, which is building up somewhere. It's starting to boil. It's not at its fullest yet. It's not at its best yet, but it's starting to grow, and it's starting to grow. And you see that just like you showed for the MasterCard payments.
What do you think of the dump that happened 2 days ago? What do you make of it? CME futures manipulation or options and futures manipulation before Friday?
I genuinely think this is not a single point to be worried about. Like Bitcoin rallied straight up, practically almost straight up from 30K, up to 67K to new all-time highs. You had this minor correction, down from 53 to 40, right, which we also discussed in the show. And but this is it. Like this is this tiny minor consolidation, which is happening at the previous weakness levels. Like if you think about it, if you open up the chart, then April and May were very weak at over $58,000, right? And right now you're seeing actual strength. You're seeing actual like power in there, right? The dips are literally bought. Like $3,000 dip happened, or whatever the dip was, 13%, right? 13%. And it's already bought back like 3K in a single like hour or 2 hours, like earlier today. So there is a definite demand in the area where it showed the clear distribution and presence of bearish whales at the other day, reversals. That's the strength. This is strength, consolidation in the upward trend. This is a continuation signal.
So you're still bullish for your 150 to 250K in the next, you're talking about 75 days till the end of the year. Less.
Yeah. I think, the point is that the more FOMO you start building from the previous points that we discussed, then the more accelerated the entire crypto momentum gets, right? The more people will FOMO. This is going to be like a snowball effect. Additional pump news is going, like the news is coming out from the institutions will start pumping the markets, which would intensify the FOMO from the retails, which would intensify price pump. And this would mean that in a very short period of time, price can literally shock up and pump heavily.
Mr. Birb, thank you, my brother. Much love to you. I know that you stepped out of a meeting to come and talk to us today. So we'll chat to you again soon, my man.
Chat to you soon. All love for Banter family. Cheers.
Birb is basically the number one guy in crypto, the number one guy in the world, the biggest heart in the world. I told you, him and his wife. Oof, what an amazing power couple. I see Sheldino's logged off. I wanted him to take us through some charts that are breaking out. Sheldino! Oh, he's already halfway home. Okay. Let's see what else I've got for you guys. I know I've got a whole lot of good stuff for you guys. Let's have a look here. We are going to Solana conference on the 7th of, we're going to be there on the 5th to the 12th of November. We are going to also have a Banter meetup there. So look out for details of the Banter meetup, which I'm going to send to you guys. I wanted to also show you something else. Remember, I told you guys to buy Tomb. Now, listen carefully here, because this is free alpha. You were supposed to come on and do charts.
Yeah, there's no power.
Oh, there's no electricity.
There's no electricity.
Oh, okay, so no charts for us. See you tomorrow, bro.
Sure.
Okay, so remember I told you guys that what you could do is you could buy Tomb, which is actually pegged to Fantom. You could then take your Tomb, and the peg was 1-to-1, and you could stake your Tomb, and you could earn huge APYs. You could earn 335% APYs for staking your Fantom and your Tomb, right? Remember I said that to you guys. So something very interesting happened now. And now we've got a bit of a change in the system. Because if you bought your Fantom and Tomb when they were pegged, so let me quickly show you this. Fantom is supposed to be pegged, Tomb is supposed to be pegged to Fantom, but sometimes every now and then it loses the peg. And what you're seeing now is that the peg is lost. The Tomb price is a 381 and the Fantom price is a 316. So when you swapped them the first time, the price was pegged. So you had one Fantom for one Tomb. But now what you've got is you've got these Tomb tokens, which are earning you 337% per year, which is about 30% a month. But there's a 25% differential. So what you can do now is you can make a decision. Do you want to stay in Tomb, or do you want to sell your Tomb and get 35% or 30% more Fantom? You swapped them the other day, and now you can just swap them back and get 30% more Fantom. If you do that, you're missing out on this 335% that you can make per annum. You earn that, remember, in T-shares, and then you can stake your T-shares. As you can see, you can stake the T-shares, and you can make, I'm not sure what the return is, I'm sure it'll give it to me in a couple of seconds, but over 300% in T-shares. So you got to keep watching this peg. Right now, the peg is broken. It's broken, but it's good for you. If you swapped your Tomb, your Fantom for Tomb, now what happens is you can just swap it back and you can make 30% more Fantom than you started with. Basically the easiest money in the world. Okay, but if you don't want to do that, just keep staking and you'll keep earning your 300 and whatever percent APY. Also, just wanted to share with you guys that we are almost in official alt season. Alt season is when this index here gets to 75, and that is when the top 50 tokens, top 30 perform over
75.
Top 75 perform over Bitcoin. The only token that performed better than Shiba in the last 90 days? Fantom. That's the only one. Okay, what else? I see my mom and dad are here. Come. He doesn't want to come in. My mom and dad have come to visit me at the office. First time ever. And now he doesn't want my dad shy. He doesn't want to come onto the show. What else? Let's see. Is there anything else that I want to share with you guys? Let's see. Is there anything else that I want to share with you guys? Anything else that can make us money on the market today? Oh, there is this article about India. I don't think anyone's paying attention to the article about India. So you've got India plans to ban Bitcoin. Remember that whole thing about this, like India talking about banning Bitcoin. And now you're seeing that they're saying, no, we're not actually going to ban Bitcoin. We're actually going to regulate it as a commodity, which means that India and the USA are going to have similar laws and rules for Bitcoin. At least it's not banned. And then hopefully the Indian market is going to start coming back in. I think that if we've got 5,000 likes, that's it for today. Oh, another masterclass coming out today. How to use time frames on trading views. Strategy. What else, Fred? This is Fred, the peanut gallery. Okay, what else? Do we have 5,000 likes? We have 5,000 likes. All right, let's get Scallop. Let's give Scallop to our people. We have how many more? 4. Okay, let's go. Okay, go Freddy, go. Concentrate, Fred, concentrate. Okay, Kim Mrs. Falcon, don't miss us on Twitch. The one person that watches us on Twitch. That one person wins $100 worth of Scallop, which is worth $2,000 now. Craig Elkin, another $2,000. You get $100 worth of Scallop. Fred, you always complain that the show's too long, and it takes you so long to choose winners. And then Arnab Banerjee says, make my day. Give him $200. Give him $200. All right, that's your day, mate. Okay, that's your day, mate. That's my day, mate. And that's the end of my day. Now, remember, tomorrow there's no Friday afternoon banter. So Sheldon and I are going to do a big show in the morning, and then there's going to be no afternoon show. And yeah, we will see you guys again tomorrow. Until then. Thanks for cutting me off today. Also, well done for putting up the end screen. You've done really well today. You guys have done fantastic today. Great show. Good to see everyone's concentrating here today at the studio. It's not the last day of the week. We have another day tomorrow.